Assalam, assalam, assalam. The greetings of the Native American tongue. Salam, shalom, and shalom. Already. I hope we ready already. If we ain't ready, we better get ready. If you are ready, stay ready. Because it's coming. The revolution will be digitalized. Oh, yeah. We got a subject matter today that if we can understand, then we can set ourselves free today, any moment you click on this understanding of this recording. How Christians and Muslims is practicing Native American spiritual system that we in our native tongue call Al Sufiana Americana, Allah Sufia. Today we call it knowledge of self. In plain Jane Moorish, what you call English. Knowledge of self is what was on the Kaaba cars, what you call pyramids, was know thyself. Know thyself is knowledge of self, which was our spiritual system and culture where we practice divine law. We must understand and know that what we have in front of us today is as English is plagiarized, stolen, converted, rehashed, re-innovated ideas of our culture before the invaders took over with their technology. So the tax invaders are the invaders who took over and started acculturating you through assimilation. We're going to bring this word up. This is a good word to bring up. Through a process of assimilation, let's see, can we get a little AI? What is let's just say difference between, we're going to find the right phrase. Okay, there we go. Got a little overview right quick. Now, this is what they say. We're going to share the screen. Remember when the age of knowledge, self-knowledge. So here's what AI pulled up, the difference between separation versus assimilation. While separation refers to actively maintaining a distinct cultural identity by distancing oneself from the dominant culture. Assimilation means fully adopting the customs and norms of the dominant culture, essentially losing one's own cultural identity to fit in with the majority group. In synopsis, essentially, separation is about keeping one's own culture, while assimilation is about merging with the dominant culture. So this is what was done with the old Native Americans. The old Native Americans were separated, and when the tax invaders came, they came with their ways, and we called their ways the acts that went astray. So their acts is the ways that we adopted as simulation to fit in. So when people started adopting the identity of Black, this begins a cultural shift in cultural identity with no connection to ancient and antiquity, no past, no monumental, no time immemorial, no reference to anything older than what you have merged yourself with through assimilation to now fit in with the culture of the dominating culture. So we're going to see what are some key bullet points on separation. And then next we'll do on assimilation. Some bullet points on separation is maintaining cultural identity, limited integration, potential for social isolation. Bullet points on assimilation, adopting dominant culture, loss of your own cultural identity, blending in, camouflage. These are actions that are implicitly consented and implied as you agree to this identity. And with identity is establish your rights and the laws. So blending in, now you lose your own law structure for the customs, values, and behaviors of the tax invaders. Therefore, downplaying and abandoning your own culture that's tied to the prophets, who were the son of Adam, the son of man. And to assimilate through religion of the tax invaders to now adopt the way when in Rome, do as Rome. So how much do language play a part into a simulation, forgetting your own language. Let's see, can we redefine? So enlarge the largest ideas, and we're going to bring up some incredible things that'll make knowledge that was unknown credible. A lot of us don't know about replacement, but we know about theology. So theology belongs to the science of, you would say, the science of God or the science of religion. So prior to the tax invaders coming to our land, we had our own way. We didn't call it theology. We called it in Moorish the way. And now, since we have no clue about school systems, what church really is, what lodges are, what Freemasonry is, how this contends to ethical, and how this is supported and backed through guildership of frats and sororities, and how all this accumulates to a social identity, bringing about a social change through the social gospel. So in this theology that they gave the Native Americans would replace in their mind the way of their own culture, including all their Moorish ancestry and all of their Hebrew wisdom, would now be replaced by a Christian doctrine that the Christian church had replaced. So there's been a long rival before coming to America between our way of life. See, we have to understand our way of life predated the tax invaders who came here. What they came here with, we already had, and it was more advanced. So they had to make a illusionary imitation. They had to mimic something that would bring us out of our native identity and want us to join and assimilate through adoption of constitutions, behaviors, and ideas from other cultures, not belonging to us, ours, and our own culture. So who is responsible for this? They will be considered Christians and Muslims. Now, Christians and Muslims, these are separated terms that was once united in our way. And our way considered for us was our law and our life. So everything that was brought to us in this new doctrine We already understood it in our language, but we didn't understand it in their language. Our language was the original Al-Hebrew, Al-Habru. Their language was from Arabic to Latin. So this is where you get the abbreviation of ATL, which is Atlantis. Atlantis first have to be understood that it was a place. And that if it was a place, then there was a people. And the people was the Atlanteans. And the Atlanteans predates the church, the mosque, the synagogue. The Atlanteans are the ones who seen our ancient ancestors of Moorish descent, darkest night. As they would say, black and brown. Native Americans, these are the people who seen those. The people who have no understanding of that history but are descendants of that history is called Judeans and Romans. And Judeans speak Arabic originally. And Romans speak Latin originally. So these things in history are recorded for your own research. And I also have my own research that I can employ for screen share for our understanding. You can drop your questions, come on in. Let me know if you want the link to be dropped. We can share. But right now we're going over how Christians and Muslims is using the Native American spiritual system. Now we're talking predating the Indian. Now, the spiritual Indian system, the Indian spiritual system relates to our way because we gave them a lot of knowledge, but we have to understand how all that came about. We're going to go into all of that. But no, it came from Al-Sufiyana Americana. This was the original before it was changed, altered, modified like GMO today. So all these other new dated Christians and new dated Muslims, that's the GMO. The true Christian and the true Muslim is the Native American. That was one spiritual system tied together as one string into a knot. So when they begin to see on the land and invade the land and go unauthorized onto places of the land, they seen this culture and these symbols. So the Messiahship culture was a part of our Native American culture. It was never a part of no church. It was never a part of no mosque. It was never a part of no synagogue. The reason all of that came about was through our spiritual system. All the fabulous monuments that are designed or called today as churches, mosques, and synagogues. Those was already on the land as ancient architect by the memorial of our ancestry, our Moorish ancestry. So this whole shebang has been to cover up the language and the people. Because if the people can re-establish themselves through the language, they can rebirth just like a seed into a plant. So they needed to create an atmosphere that would restrict your growth. They need to create conditions that was bad for you so you wouldn't grow to your full potential. So that's called a replacement theology, how you view the world. So instead of your native view now, you have a merchant view of history, or a Persian view of history, or an Arabic to Latin view of history. So coming to America was like coming to paradise. So our lineage and line in history go back farther than the 25,000 year age cycle, which what made the Atlanteans come this way. We have to understand people have their own behavior, and we call that nature. Our culture was ancient Kemet, ancient Moorish, and ancient Al Hebrew, Aburu. These are also sciences, these are also mathematics that of the highest echelon, state of the art wisdom. Today, Atlanteans, that's where they get the word technology from, is from our culture called Allah Suf Ah. Allah Suf Ah is wise knowledge. Wise knowledge is what we used in the ancient time. And when they seen our wise knowledge, they started looking at our metrics, looking at our numbers, and they began to start copying just like they did our literary arts. They started copying our geometrical architectural structures. So this way they will be giving us a relation to something familiar, but it will not be from the first. They have something now called metaphysics. So metaphysics and theology is Greek words philosophizing ancient Native American culture. Since they can't say spiritual because it's already written and recorded, they create metaphysics. Now the word meta comes from the word metu, which is an ancient Kemet word. Let's see if it. Medu was an ancient Kemetic word. AI say Medu Neter was the writing system of ancient Kemet. The Nile Valley civilization that called their country Kemet. Medu Neter is considered one of the oldest languages in the world and the classical language of the Asiatics. It would be Asiatics right there, not Africa. But who wrote the program is determining where these letters are constructed. So we know the Fertile Crescent, as they say, the Horn of Africa is what they are settling upon. And there we can find the Medu Neter. Now we understand the Medu Neter is Mother Nature, so that's why it's not letters, but they concern and call them glyphs. These glyphs were concepts of nature. Nature is the word nature. So Medu Neter, this is where you get the true word nigger, Niger, Niger, which comes from ancient Al-Hakim. Al-Hakim the Medu Neter, Al-Hakim translate to divine speech or words of nature. See, this is different than an alphabetical script, a letter script, and a number script, which was made out of the Medu Neter, out of Mother Nature. So we want to understand that the Medu Neter is an ancient Hebrew word, said as Al-Hakim. Let's go further down. Meaning Medu means speech. Medu, we know that's the word divine in ancient Kim. Divine means speech, self. Neter means God, divine. So the ancient Cometians believed that their language was not just a way to communicate, but a sacred expression of the natural world and its divine principles. Also, holistic view. This concept aligns with the idea that all aspects of existence, including humans, are part of the divine and the natural. See, so everything in our ancient, let's say, to connect everything just for a moment, African spirituality was never African in nature. It was divine and natural. in nature, meaning the two was unified into one. There was unity as the core of our understandings of knowledge. That our knowledge was the understanding of the connection of things. We wasn't in walls, sitting in desks, opening up textbooks. That was an adept system for spiritual adepts. Life itself was the study of our study when we was growing to become a spiritual adept or an adult. So all of this that we witnessing in front of our eyes is ancient American Al Sufyana Americana, our spiritual system. And now since we've been flooded with Noah, a lot of words have changed our view. So we have to now get realigned back into the one by understanding the two. Our science was based on the soul and the spirit. These the two that we made one. Our biology was about making our biology divine. The tax invaders' science of biology don't include the soul. In their science, biologically, the soul does not exist. That's why in science class, you didn't learn about a soul. That's why in biology class, you didn't learn about a soul. In any school of their university, a soul was not learned as basic fundamentals to any criteria. So none of that was Native American, which they would call African spirituality, which is Hebrew wisdom. That is not how we learn. We learned that all is one. And Allah and self are one. This was no other culture system but our own. So in order to now get back to that, we will have to now get back to separation. Because we have assimilated. So we do know what a simulation is. Now it's just simple as the simplicity of separation. You're separating into practicing the divine law, and now you stop assimilating to lesser laws. Remember, any questions, you can put them in the comment box, or if you would like to join, just spell out I would like to join, and I will drop a link for us to be a part of this share. So as Native Americans, we had our own language, we had our own God, we had our own religion, we had our own science, we had our own biology, we had our own geometry, we had our own food, we had our own clothing, we had our own shelter. All and more was part of what we lost by accepting assimilation and rejecting separation. And so now these people have took in words that belong to us, like the word God, which is a Hebrew word, and then they give us and tell us it's English or Dutch or German. So this is how they mind fucked the Native Americans and their children. All of their prosperity will later receive this education. See, in this word, how I'm spelling it now, when I say Hebrew, I'm not speaking of this phonetic and this spelling. This is the magic Hebrew right here. The Hebrew I'm speaking ain't even in the AI. But we can get remnants. So now we got in Hebrew, the word for God is Elohim. See, that's not the Hebrew meaning. That E would be a A. So our word for God would be Allah. Alima. But that's another native tongue. Now these people, see, where they put Hebrew, Hebrew, you need to think about that's the drunk. That's the drunken word. That's the drunken master. The brew, on the brew, drunk off the brew. They not Hebrew, they playing as they Hebrew. Let's see if they is it. This is see, this is how you spell what I'm talking about. It'll be with an H at the end. See, then they steal it and say, these are the Jewish people stealing it, saying in the Arabic language. See, it's not Arabic. It's Al Hebrew. It's right there in the word. Al Hebrew. Al Hebrew. Hebrew is not Arabic. Al Hebrew is Native American. And this Native American word, Al Hebrew, anytime you see that AL, that's a Native American word. That is an Al Hebrew. That's why you got like Algonquin. So we're talking about Al Hebrew. That word Algonquin will be Al Hebrew. And it translates to all knowing. See, so now we're talking about Ha-ba-ra. That's all we're saying. Ha-ba-ra. Al-ha-ba-ra. Which means to know. So now we're talking about the usage. Habarus were Muslims originally, and that's pronounced Mus Alim. Those who know. So now when we're talking about those who know, what do they know? God's infinite wisdom and understanding. These are the people who are the Native Americans. Their Moorish ancestry, their Moorish descendancy is what all of this comes from, which predates all of civilization. So now back to Elohim, because this word Elohim has tricked a lot of people of this time, because these words are from the drunken master. So the magic man. So magic man gonna tell you the drunken word for God is Elohim. The word Elohim is plural. That's not giving us any. But let's scrub on down. In the Hebrew Bible, Elohim usually refers to the monotheistic creator God, to the God of Israel, Yahweh. See, this is how it all get drunken in America. We never call our God Yahweh, not in America. The word Awah, now that's Native American, and that's ancient Al-Hebrew, Al-Habara, Al-Habaru. But Yahweh is not. That's Yiddish or Jewish. People of Yahuda use the word Yahweh, not the people of America. The native people of America use the word God and the word Allah. Allah is our way of natively saying Allah, God. If we don't say Allah, we say Allah, God. And this is where you get the birth of Christians being a separate thing from our spiritual system, as being something separated into belonging to a church. And so now you think Christians belong, you think the word God belongs to the church, and you think the word God belongs to the children, to the Christians, when the word God belongs to the Native Americans, the Al-Habara, the Al-Habarus, the Al-Hebrews, not the Ibri. When we see that Hebrew, we pronounce the Ibri, Ibri Bible, the Ibri. The Ibri is where you get the Elohim. It's Ibri. You know, J's a silent, Y's a silent, U, so you got the E, the Jew, the U, the E. So all this was stolen, plagiarized, non-accredited. It's a lot of devilishment. Basically, it's wrongdoing. It's a crime, sacrilege. And us reading this is malediction, which are crimes, international crimes. So we are the Al Sufyan, Mor Abba, Al Ducana, Al Sufyan. That's how we say it in our native land, and that's how we say it now as a whole level of Al Sufiana Americana. Let's see. We'll go about 15 more minutes and then we'll get ready to bring this to a close. So, all religious titles that fall under Muslim and that fall under Christians is illegal and unlawfully is not confined to the Jews or the Greeks. Those are the ones who stole it from our Al Sufiana Americana, Allah Sufia, our spiritual wisdom. And they turn it into systems for their society to regulate, civilize, and to make hella money, make fiat, in other words, monopoly money. So with us being under a whole new acculturation through assimilation, black identity, we have lost all of that, what I've just said. So we now got to hammer and drill back a state of mind that was ancient in the present time of now. So you will have to cleanse and start immediately. You need to hop on the rite of cleansing. And you need to cleanse your heart, mind, and body. You will have to clean your spirit. You will have to clean your mind. You will have to clean your body. These words from the flood have attached to our psyche. And in our psyche is where souls are born. And all souls are spirits. So when we are understanding fundamentals of our culture, we must understand it starts at the spirit, the soul, and the body. Understanding the spirit, the soul, and the flesh all comes from the great Father, the great Mother, the Almighty. So we're going to bring in some European scholarship. So you just understand that you ain't the only one that knows this. So these people wrote this in the memory of Martin Luther. And you know the history of Martin Luther. This is where Martin Luther King got his name from, because this was to help blacks improve through the social gospel, which has been the calamity to our nation, our children, our men, our women, and now it's a revitalizing time. So over 500 years ago, Other nations have been fighting for their freedom while we was free. And so now we've been experiencing over 500 years of slavery. And now we have lost what freedom truly is. So we're going back to the blank board, erasing it, and now we're going to some just dry English so you can hear it and see it for yourself. Let's see, is it sharing? Share this. So I know. There we go. All right. Let those who have eyes see. Let those who have ears hear the truth of this most sacred writ before all men, women, children, as witnessed by the divine and all spirits. And we are after this. We're just gonna hit a couple of these jewels. One, all, not some, all possess the right to be heard, whether or not we agree with the ideals expressed. Two, by virtue of your absolute immutable right of free will, you may choose your own actions and what to believe or not to believe. These are your own actions. If you choose to agree, you must know that you are choosing your own actions on what to believe and what not to believe. And that is done by your absolute, inalienable, immutable right of free will, which is irrevocable. You can't revoke it. All you can do is choose against it. Number three, all possess the right over their own thoughts and opinions. You possess the right over your own thoughts and opinions, as no one can rightfully claim ownership of your own mind except you. Did we get that? No one can rightfully claim ownership of your own mind except you. No one has the right. Number four, your mind is the general executor. Mind is the executor and the authority, sovereign authority, your mind. The sovereign is your mind. The sovereign state is your mind. Your authority is your mind over your own body. Over your own body. And so, no force may rightfully claim possession over your flesh. No force may rightfully claim possession over your flesh. Guess what? Unless your mind surrenders. Unless your mind surrenders. Unless your mind surrenders and allows it to be so. Your mind have to surrender and allow it to be so. That you have no longer no authority over your body. You have no longer no authority over your own body. You have given some outside force rightfully right to claim possession over your own flesh. Number 5, no person, corporation, or group, don't matter what nationality, no nationality group may claim ownership of the cells of your body or the genetic code that forms your life and who and what you are. No one. Not the book of Genesis can change your genetic code that forms your life and who and what you are. But you can surrender your mind and allow Genesis to be the force that made it so. 6, all you possess the right and ability of reason through the existence of your conscience, sometimes attributed to the existence of the soul. There they go. They're trying to put our spirituality into writing. Sometimes attributed to the existence of the soul, because in all European forms, the soul is not included. So sometimes attributed to the existence of the soul, enabling choices between what is considered right and wrong. See, we on a high level of conscious. At KOS, it's called ultra conscious. So when you ultra conscious, this is the place of the soul, where the soul has mastered logic and discernment. So 7, even if we have on occasion surrendered our mind, no force, nor person, nor being can truly own your soul, your mind, or even your body as flesh, just as no corporation, no society, nor person, nor any nationality may claim ownership of the land, water, or air. We're going to hit the 10 and then we out. Number 8, we are merely custodians and stewards. They use the word tenants on this beautiful planet that sustains life. No one possesses a blood right. No one possesses a birthright. No one possesses a prior right, nor a divine right of ownership or a rule over any other. See, all of this has been make-believe. All of this has been make-believe through forgery. Number 9, no one may claim to be superior or others to be inferior based on the color of their skin or nature of their birth or religion. See, all are equal, in other words, at KOS. In the laws of Allah are the way of the Al-Sufiyana Americana on the land of America, from the soil to the light of the stars. All is equal. Last, while there may be times that we are forced, another word, tricked, while there may be times that we are tricked to say or to do things against our nature, unless we be under duress. You are responsible for your own actions and your own choices. While there may be times that we are tricked to say or do things against our identity, our nature, our character, unless we be under duress. Unless we be under duress, you are responsible for your own actions and your choices. And I enjoy you spend an hour to receive self-knowledge. This is critical for yourself, for your family, and for us to be a community of knowledge of self. We all must have self-knowledge. We must know our rights, and we must know the law that we are under, which is called the divine law. At KOS, we practice divine law. That's our practice, that's our way, and we have our language. We can't put it all online. So if you're interested, you have to make some attempt and participate and not only observe. So let your presence be felt, known, and recognized, and make some comments so we can understand each other. Because we're finna get ready to shut this down because we've been going for an hour and there's plenty of things for y'all to do instead of get self-knowledge. You know y'all don't want to get self-knowledge. But we can go another hour if you want to go another hour. Let your voice be heard. Let your voice be heard. We just went over some groundbreaking self-knowledge. Now you are better equipped for better choice making to not go against your own nature by surrendering your authority that we call your mind in plain Jane English. Peace and love divine. Is our divine authority. So would you like me to drop the link in the comment box? Type 1, type yes, type no, type 0. Because all souls is to be free. Now, if all souls chooses to surrender, you are responsible for your own actions and your own choices. But as the Native Americans, the original Native Americans, our way is the Asufiana Americana. That's our divine name of who we are before tax invaders came, before Greek philosophers came. Before we was replaced with the theology of are you a Christian or are you a Muslim? We was all that already. that was under one unit called Messiahship. Every Messiah was a Musallam. And we can go over the actual meaning and definition, because this is not the Bible, nor is it the Quran. When we say at KOS Al Sufyan, false scriptures we don't believe in. We are devoted to self-knowledge. And self-restraint to honor God through our good works and virtuous life. Faith in the way is simple. And it's the most easiest, it's the most simplest to describe. To live a life of self-respect and virtue. So since we didn't get no comments in the comment box, nobody spoke, so nobody's voice was heard, we're going to get ready to get up out of here. As-salam, as-salam, as-salam. Salam, shalom, shalom, al-wadu.